Hello, Leo. Welcome back. Let's take a deep breath together and gently step into the sacred current of your cosmic guidance for today. This energy doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives quietly, like the voice you've been trying to ignore inside your own chest. The message is clear, steady, and deeply necessary. It's time to reclaim your power and draw the lines that should have been drawn long ago. For a while now, you may have felt the weight of emotions that weren't even yours to carry. Shame that settled into your bones, guilt that crept in through someone else's silence, or subtle manipulation that left you questioning your own instincts. That ends here. This moment in your journey isn't about confrontation, revenge, or proving anything to anyone. It's about recognizing where you've been giving too much of yourself away and quietly choosing not to anymore. You don't owe anyone an explanation for choosing peace. You don't need permission to return to your own center. The people who have benefited from your silence may not like the sound of your boundaries, but that doesn't make those boundaries any less sacred. You're learning now that the love you give to yourself is not selfish, it's sacred. And when you finally say no to what drains you, you're saying yes to a version of yourself that's been waiting for you to come home. This is not a dramatic turning point. It's a deep inner shift. And while others may not notice the subtle ways you are pulling your energy back, you will. In the way your breath deepens, in the way your mind clears, in the way your heart stops racing when you walk away from people who no longer align with your healing. You're not abandoning anyone. You're simply remembering who you are beneath the roles you've played to survive. This is your quiet revolution, Leo, and it begins not with noise but with truth. And as this quiet revolution takes root within you, Leo, the external world begins to respond in kind, not through sudden strokes of luck, but through the slow, steady return of everything you've been building behind the scenes. The truth is, your fortune isn't arriving by accident. It's the natural ripple of the choices you made when no one was watching, the discipline you kept when it felt like nothing was moving, and the belief you held on to when doubt whispered louder than hope. This moment of incoming abundance is not a handout from the universe. It's a recognition of your persistence. You may notice small but undeniable signs of alignment in your financial life, not because you stumbled upon good luck, but because your energy is finally clear enough to attract what you've always deserved. Someone may step forward soon with an offer, an idea, or a form of support that opens doors you thought were closed for good. This will not feel rushed or overly grandiose. It will feel aligned, grounded, and right. There's a quiet synergy taking shape in your material world, and the connections that come into play now are likely to be based not on desperation, but mutual respect and vision. Stay open to collaboration, especially with individuals who recognize the value of what you bring, not just your work, but your way of thinking, your calm presence, your loyalty. And as you move through these next few days, don't forget to take note of the subtle ways the universe speaks. The color golden yellow surrounds you like a gentle affirmation from the divine. It represents warmth, clarity, and quiet confidence, a reminder that you are worthy of shining without apology. Let that color be with you, whether through clothing, objects, or visualization, as a gentle invitation to stay connected to your own radiance. Your numbers, 9, 20, 31, 42, 53, and 64, aren't just digits. They're frequency markers, reminders of synchronicity and divine timing. You may not understand their meaning right away, but if you stay observant, you'll notice their presence on receipts, clocks, addresses, or moments that seem to carry a strange sense of right place, right time. Let them guide you, not with superstition, but with intention. This is your reminder, Leo, that the universe doesn't forget the seeds you plant in silence. It simply waits for the right season to let them bloom. And this season, quietly and undeniably, belongs to you. As the current of alignment continues to move through your financial life, Leo, it gently extends into your professional world, where the soil is just as fertile and the timing just as sacred. You are entering a phase where stability no longer feels like a distant goal, but a grounded reality, slowly rising beneath your feet, shaped by years of quiet effort, discipline, and the decision to keep showing up, even when you felt unseen. What's beginning to unfold now is not the result of a single breakthrough, but the culmination of a dozen invisible ones. The late nights you didn't complain about, the integrity you upheld when shortcuts were tempting, the calm you maintained while others panicked. These are the qualities that are being noticed now, not necessarily with applause, but with trust, and that trust is starting to take form in the shape of responsibility, recognition, and opportunity. There is a quiet invitation forming around you, asking you to step forward, not to prove yourself, but to lead from the grounded wisdom of your experience. You may find yourself being called into a position of leadership, not because you pushed for it, but because others instinctively sense your ability to hold space, make decisions, and see the long view. This won't feel like power in the traditional sense. It will feel like alignment, like being in the right room at the right time with the right vision. The challenges may still arise, as they always do, but your relationship to them has shifted. You're no longer reacting, you're responding, and that shift alone makes you a different kind of leader, one who inspires not by dominance, but by presence. Let this next chapter in your work life be shaped not by urgency, but by clarity. Let your choices be made not from fear of scarcity, but from trust in your preparation. And as opportunities come toward you, remember that you don't have to chase what already has your name on it. Simply remain open, remain rooted, and remain in integrity with the version of yourself you've been quietly becoming all along. The stability you seek is not ahead of you, it's beneath you now, steadying your steps, affirming that you are exactly where you're meant to be. And as this sense of grounded stability takes shape in your career and finances, it gently begins to soften the edges of your heart as well, Leo, inviting a quiet tenderness into your emotional world. A space that may have long been guarded by necessity, but is now ready to breathe again. In love, whether you are in a relationship or walking the path alone, there is a shift occurring, not loud or dramatic, but undeniably meaningful. If you are currently in a connection, you may notice that the emotional atmosphere begins to feel safer, more open, and more honest, as if both of you are finally stepping out from behind your old defenses and realizing that your shared foundation is strong enough to hold vulnerability, repair, and even renewal. This is not the kind of love that demands grand declarations. It is the kind that grows slowly in quiet spaces, through late-night conversations, softened expressions, and the decision to keep choosing one another, even after the hard parts. And if your heart has been solitary, either by choice or by circumstance, you may begin to feel the stirring of connection in a new or familiar form. Someone may re-enter your orbit, not to repeat a cycle, but to offer a conversation that carries more clarity than it once did. Or perhaps a new person begins to mirror the values and inner shifts you've cultivated within yourself. Someone who feels less like a fantasy and more like a mirror. Someone whose presence doesn't disturb your peace but complements it. Either way, the energy around you is not pushing for fast romance. It's inviting authentic connection, the kind that grows from shared understanding rather than surface chemistry. This is a time to stay emotionally present, to listen not just to words but to energy, and to allow your intuition to guide you, especially when it comes to decisions of the heart. You've grown, Leo. You've softened in all the right places and strengthened in all the necessary ones. And now your emotional world is beginning to reflect that balance back to you, not through chaos or longing, but through the quiet arrival of love that feels like peace. Whether you are rebuilding with someone familiar or slowly opening to someone new, let the connection unfold on your terms, in your time, with your heart as the compass. Not the past, not fear, not pressure, just the truth of what feels right. When you stop pretending and start listening. And as your heart begins to soften into spaces of trust and connection, your body and spirit are not far behind, Leo. Because healing does not happen in isolated compartments. It is a full-body experience, a soul-wide return to balance after a long journey through survival. This moment in your health is not about sudden transformation or strict routines, but about the quiet realization that you no longer want to abandon yourself, not emotionally, not physically, not energetically. You may begin to notice the subtle ways your body is responding to your inner clarity, the way your breath comes easier, the way tension leaves your shoulders when you no longer carry obligations that were never yours to begin with, the way your nervous system begins to settle when you stop explaining your boundaries and simply live by them. This is a season of recovery, not because something was broken, but because something inside of you is finally being honored. The part of you that has long known how tired you've been, how much you've held in, how many nights you've gone to sleep with a racing mind and a clenched jaw. Now the energy shifts, not through force, but through care. You are being called to return to your body, not as a machine that performs, but as a temple that holds you, to nourish it, not with punishment, but with compassion, to listen to it, not only when it aches, but when it whispers that it needs rest, movement, solitude, or connection. And more than anything, this is a time to become fierce about your peace, not in reaction to the world, but in devotion to yourself. Protecting your mental and emotional boundaries is not an act of rebellion, it is an act of preservation, a sacred decision to no longer let the chaos around you dictate the calm within you. Whether that means turning your phone off earlier, spending more time in silence, returning to nature, or simply drinking water with intention, every small act of care is a declaration that you are no longer willing to abandon yourself in order to be everything for everyone else. Your healing doesn't need to be visible to be valid, Leo. It's happening in the quiet choices, in the way you exhale more fully, in the way you say no without guilt, in the way you let joy be simple again. Trust the pace of this renewal. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be, rebuilding gently from the inside out. And as your body softens and your spirit settles into this gentler rhythm of care and renewal, the energy around your relationships, especially those rooted in family and deep friendship, begins to reflect the same quiet warmth, Leo. This is a time when the bonds that matter most to your heart may find their way back into balance. Not because everything is suddenly perfect, but because there is space again for understanding, for laughter, for the kind of connection that doesn't need constant words to be felt. If there have been misunderstandings or long-held tension within your family, the days ahead may offer a subtle invitation to soften the edges, to extend a hand, to meet halfway. Not out of obligation, but because something deeper within you longs for resolution that feels nourishing rather than draining. You are often the steady one in your circle, Leo, the one people turn to without even realizing it, the one who brings warmth into cold rooms, the one who offers strength when others are unsure. But even the strongest pillars need support, and now may be a time to let yourself be seen too, not just for what you give, but for who you are when you aren't holding it all together. You may notice that family gatherings or small moments with loved ones feel more meaningful now, less about performance and more about presence. And if reconnection is possible, whether through conversation, shared meals, or unexpected laughter, trust that these moments are not small, they are healing. Beyond blood ties, your cosmic compatibility speaks quietly through the energies you attract and those who find you. Sagittarius may bring the fire that lights your enthusiasm again, reminding you to dream bigger and laugh louder. Taurus and Virgo offer grounding presence, the kind of stability that helps you stay centered when life feels scattered. Gemini and Libra bring clarity through communication, opening mental doors that refresh your perspective. Aries and Scorpio spark the parts of you that are brave, passionate, unafraid to leap or dive deep. And Aquarius, well, Aquarius stretches your mind toward visions of the future, helping you remember that connection can be both intimate and expansive. These signs are not just astrological pairings. They are reflections of what you're learning to hold within yourself: courage, steadiness, clarity, warmth, depth, and innovation. If someone from one of these signs enters or re-enters your life now, or simply holds a more central role in your journey, pay attention not to what they say, but to how you feel around them. Whether they expand your breath, sharpen your vision, or call forth a version of you that feels more whole. Leo, your relationships, both familial and cosmic, are realigning to meet the version of you that is no longer shrinking, no longer pleasing, no longer apologizing. This is the community you've earned through your inner work, and it is beginning to rise up around you now like a circle of quiet strength, holding space for the next chapter of your becoming. So as we close today's message, Leo, take a moment to recognize how far you've come. Not just in achievements others can see, but in the quiet victories no one clapped for. This chapter is not about proving yourself. It's about honoring the self you've reclaimed piece by piece. You're no longer carrying what isn't yours, no longer dimming your light to make others comfortable, no longer delaying your healing for the sake of peace that never truly felt peaceful. You are returning to yourself, stronger, softer, wiser. Let your boundaries speak for you. Let your rest be sacred. Let your glow be rooted, not forced. And most of all, let this be the season where you stop waiting for permission and begin living in alignment with who you've always known you were. Thank you for being here today, for showing up for your own growth, for choosing truth over comfort and peace over performance. I'll meet you here again soon. Until then, protect your light, trust your timing, and keep walking forward. You are becoming everything you once hoped for and more. Keep shining, Leo.